Power grids today don't fail neatly. When a severe disruption hits, we rarely see a single neighborhood lose power in isolation. We watch entire systems go dark in rapid, cascading collapses. For decades, we have protected our energy infrastructure using what engineers call the fortress model. We build heavy physical walls around the grid. We rely on giant transmission towers, redundant cables, and massive backup generators to hold the line against blackouts. The core rule of this fortress is known as the N1 and N2 criteria. The logic is simple. If you can take out any single transmission line, or even two of them simultaneously, and the power keeps flowing, the system is certified as secure. The sole objective of this design is absolute uptime. Keep the lights on, keep the machines humming, and prevent the system from breaking. We spend billions building these impenetrable physical fortresses. They are highly effective against isolated hardware damage and almost completely useless against the specific threats that actually take down modern grids. This diagram compares the thick physical blocks of the grid, the wall, with the delicate, invisible connections running between them. These connections are the seam. The seam consists of digital monitoring networks, logistical supply chains, and the human operators tasked with making decisions. While we spent years hardening the physical assets, we left these digital and logistical seams completely exposed. A cyber threat or a software glitch travels at machine speed, bypassing physical redundancies entirely. Every major energy cascade of the last 25 years has been a seam failure, not a wall failure. Inside these seams lie hidden vulnerabilities known as pivot dominoes. These are specific nodes, like an alarm system or a remote access server, that act as an instant kill switch for the rest of the network if they are compromised. A heavily armored wall does nothing if the invisible threads holding the structure together snap under pressure. In 2003, 55 million people in North America lost power. Investigations later revealed that every physical transmission line was perfectly compliant with N1 safety standards when the event began. This chart breaks down the root causes of historical cascades. Looking at the 2003 event, the true pivot domino wasn't physical hardware. A software glitch silenced the alarm system. For 68 minutes, grid operators stared at normal screens, completely blind, while a massive cascade developed. 18 years later, Winter Storm Uri hit Texas, causing $195 billion in damages. The physical power turbines survived the cold. The pivot domino was miles away. The natural gas logistics chain, the wellheads and pipelines, froze solid, severing the fuel supply to 700 generating units at the exact same time. You can build layers of physical redundancy into a power plant, but if its digital nervous system goes silent or the off-site fuel supply stops flowing, the plant goes dark. The final vulnerability in the seam is human governance. We saw this fail spectacularly during the 2025 Iberian grid collapse. The Spanish and Portuguese grids lost 31 gigawatts of capacity, roughly 60% of their entire volume, in exactly 5 seconds. This exposes a flaw called hierarchy addiction. Our grids are run by local operators who are structurally forced to wait for centralized authorization before making emergency decisions. When a collapse takes 5 seconds, the phone call to headquarters cannot happen fast enough. Human speed decision-making is structurally incompatible with a machine speed failure. This matrix outlines the Aquarian Systematic Resilience Framework, or ASR. Instead of attempting the impossible goal of preventing all outages, we need to design networks that know how to fail safely. The objective shifts from total uptime to flow sovereignty. This means guaranteeing that Tier 0 critical loads, hospitals, water treatment plants, telecommunications, can run autonomously for 72 hours, even while the broader regional network collapses. This schematic details 2 mechanical fixes. First, shadow agents. These air-gapped backup systems take control within 4 seconds if the primary network goes silent. Second, islanding. By pre-engineering boundaries, the grid detaches into self-sustaining local segments, preventing regional failures from tearing down the continent. A rigid system that holds on to every connection until the bitter end will eventually shatter. Survival requires the ability to gracefully degrade. Looking at the right pillars of this architectural summary, the final fix relies on commander's intent, executed through a sovereign override clause. This pre-authorized legal framework grants local engineers the power to execute emergency protocols the second conditions cross a critical threshold. By removing the need for permission from headquarters, we eliminate hierarchy addiction. The human response is allowed to match the machine speed of the crisis. In our current era of extreme weather, cyber threats, and shifting power sources, severe disruption is a mathematical certainty. This decision point summarizes the reality grid operators face. The energy networks that survive the next decade won't be the ones hiding behind the thickest physical walls. They will be the ones that have mastered the architecture of failing safely.